The media lied to you about love. You are terrified of giving your heart to someone because deep down you are convinced they will eventually leave. You expect betrayal. You expect heartbreak. But what if I told you that this fear isn't even yours? What if it was planted inside your head by a glowing screen? You believe you understand love, not because you studied it, but because you have seen it. Thousands of times, in movies, in K-dramas, in short viral videos playing at 2 a.m. Look at what they all have in common: pain, sacrifice, silence, and a love so intense it destroys everyone it touches. We watch this for hours. We feel it in our chest. We call it beautiful. But nobody ever stops to ask the most important question. If love is supposed to feel like this much agony, why would anyone ever want it?
There is a psychological formula. The media industry discovered it a long time ago. Let me show it to you. A boy and a girl are deeply in love. Then a problem arrives: money, family, a threat. And instead of sitting down and saying, "We have a problem, let's solve it," she leaves without a word to protect him. Years pass. He spends his life broken and alone. When she finally returns, she has a child, and she lies again, saying, "It isn't yours." The screen tells you this is a noble sacrifice, but psychology tells a different story. She made a decision for him without asking him. She stole his choice. That is not love. That is avoidant attachment dressed in a romantic soundtrack. Then there is the second formula. Two people, married, living under the same roof. She thinks he doesn't love me anymore. He thinks she never wanted this life, and neither one says a word. They become strangers, 40 episodes of misery, watching two people slowly destroy each other because neither one could say 5 simple words. Are you okay? I'm not. One honest conversation and the whole story ends, but peace doesn't keep you watching. And finally, the villain, the character who abuses, manipulates, and breaks people. But in the final act, the writers give him a sad backstory. He was hurt in the past. Suddenly, the audience cries for him. Why do they take a monster and make him a victim? They confuse abuse with passion because it teaches your subconscious a very dangerous, toxic lesson, that red flags can be ignored and that toxic people can be fixed with enough love.
Here is where it gets terrifying, because these aren't just stories anymore. You watch them, episode after episode, and slowly, without realizing it, they crawled out of the screen and into your reality. You used to be a simple person. When you imagined your future, it wasn't dramatic. You thought about small things: cooking a meal for someone, taking care of them, sharing a quiet life. But somewhere along the way, that image disappeared. Now, when you think about love, the first thing you feel is fear. What if they betray you? What if they wake up 5 years from now and decide they want someone else? What if you give everything and end up completely alone? You became terrified of the very thing you wanted most. And then one day, you stopped, and you asked yourself a question that shattered everything. When did this happen to me? And the honest answer was, it didn't. Nobody left you without explanation. Nobody disappeared for 7 years. You just watched it, hundreds of times, until your brain accepted it as reality. You absorbed the trauma of 1,000 fictional characters, and you built your entire understanding of love on top of it.
Why does the industry feed us this? It is not an accident. It is biology. Your brain is designed for survival, and survival means paying attention to threats, to danger, to pain. When you watch a healthy couple solve a problem calmly, your brain does almost nothing. But when you watch heartbreak, when you watch betrayal, your brain floods with cortisol, the stress hormone. You feel a physical tightness in your chest, and when the tension finally breaks, you get a massive hit of dopamine, the reward chemical. It is a drug cycle, engineered for your specific biology. You don't actually enjoy sad stories. Your nervous system has simply become addicted to the roller coaster. And this addiction changes you. You start finding healthy, quiet relationships boring. You start mistaking anxiety for chemistry. You start believing that if it doesn't hurt, it probably isn't real. You don't fall in love, you fall into patterns. Patterns written for you by people who profit from your tears.
So what does real love actually look like? Not the version we were sold, the actual thing. It doesn't have a soundtrack. There is no dramatic airport scene, no 7 years of silent waiting. It looks like this. It is a Wednesday evening. Someone had a hard day, and instead of going quiet, they say, "I'm not okay tonight. Can you just be here?" And the other person says yes. That's it. No performance, no suffering, just two people choosing honesty over silence. We were taught that love should feel like a wound, that intensity means depth, that if it doesn't destroy you a little, it isn't real. But I want to offer you a different idea. What if the healthiest love you will ever experience feels like relief, not obsession, not electricity, not an anxious, desperate pull in your chest, just relief, the feeling that you can finally stop performing, that you don't have to be perfect or dramatic, that you can just exist, and that is enough. That version of love was never shown to you because it would not keep you watching. So if you find yourself afraid of commitment, convinced that people always leave, certain that happiness is a trap, ask yourself one honest question. Did I experience this, or did I just watch it until I believed it? This is the human frame. See yourself differently.